Hello again everybody. This is a really short introduction because the video tells a story all of itself, but I just wanted to try and get you to watch until the end, or if you like skip through to the end, whichever, because there's a valuable lesson I think in how you should interpret your images both when you're out in the field and, more importantly, when you get back to base and have a look at the results on a decent sized monitor. Now, the image in question I am going to put straight out of camera amongst the other images during the course of the video, and then I'll come back to it at the end to discuss what I think I've done to improve it. I will see you at the end. Hello again everyone. I've just got off the train here at Flint, over in what I always regard as my home country. Yes, I've come abroad today. I'm in Wales, North Wales, just a stone's throw really from Liverpool. But I've come over here to Flint specifically to photograph one of my favourite subjects, and I'll take you there very shortly. And there behind me you can see Flint Castle. So here we are. This is Flint Castle. It was the one built first of all by Edward I, and it was started in 1277. It formed the first of a chain of castles, nearly all of which were located on the coast so they could be resupplied by sea. And as you can see over in the distance, that is the Wirral Peninsula. So Liverpool is the other side of that. And the estuary, of course, would have come in. This is all silted up over the intervening centuries. And it's a fairly unique design, this particular castle. It has a separate tower behind the camera called a donjon. Not dungeon, a donjon. And when they were completed, the castles were there to subjugate the Welsh, and it was referred to as a ring of iron. Now, Edward I was renowned for being very tall. He was over 6 foot tall. His nickname was Edward Longshanks, and his other nickname was Hammer of the Scots, because once he'd quelled the Welsh and quietened them down, he turned his attention to the Scots, who, if anything, were much more problematic. It's a fascinating period in history. So my intention today with the EM1, I've got just about every lens that I own apart from the big 400mm Sigma, but there was another point in me coming here, and that was to have a look at the view that you get across to the Wirral, because I think with the 400mm lens I can get some excellent shots of Parkgate, which is just peeping out to the side of the tower over there. So that's a possibility for later on this year. But right now, we're going to take some shots around and about the castle. I'll catch up with you later. that's puffed me out. Gosh, I've come up to the top of the southeastern tower. I'll show you how high it is in a minute, but we're looking down onto the donjon over there, and then beyond it the town of Flint itself. And this whole area down here in front of me would have been seawater open to the tides, and just over there in the distance you can make out what's left of the moat, which at one time would have surrounded the other three sides of the castle. Just pan you around so you're looking across to the Wirral. And if you don't like heights, probably don't look down. That's right down to the bottom of the tower. So I shall negotiate the stainless steel spiral stairs and take a few more shots. I almost wish I'd got the little Lumix GF1 infrared converted camera with me, because I think I could have got some relatively interesting skies and therefore infrared results out of it. We'll never know because I've not got it with me. Anyhow, oh gosh, I hate these things. Oh gosh, look at this. See if I can turn it. No, I can't. A picture point, telling people where to stand, and even giving them a the outline. Oh my I just... Kodak used to be a bugger for doing that, pardon my French. Places like the Grand Canyon. Stand here for a fantastic photo. Absolute rubbish. I don't know. Well, here we have a tower in the northwest corner. Of course, the old joke says, yeah, very impressive, it'll be nice when it's finished. I think it was actually finished in around about 1284. They fascinate me, these buildings. Mainly because I grew up right next to one, so I had more or less 24-hour access to it. Not this particular one, one further down the coast. And of course, what medieval castle would be complete without a well? So I've taken a few images inside the castle walls. So now I'm going to walk around the exterior, around the western edge, past the car park. There's always a car park, isn't there? Past the car park and down towards the shoreline. And now from down here you get a much better view of the massive nature of the stoneworks. And bear in mind, this is only the first of a ring of castles that Edward had built, and it's by no means the most impressive or the largest. Nevertheless, must have been a pretty awe-inspiring sight to the locals. Sent out a clear message: the English are here. Well, it's actually lovely and warm now. Clear sun. Don't think it's going to last too long. But I found this bench on the pathway down by the marshes, and I thought I'd introduce you to my new friend Bob. Don't know what his real name is, but he's definitely Bob.
I say, Bob, I think this calls for a celebration. How about a game of cop and ball and a slap-up tea at Mrs. Miggins' pie shop?
Get lost, creep.
I like you, young Bob. You've got balls.
For those of you more interested in the photography than the history lessons, today it's the EM1 that I'm using with 3 different lenses. That's the 14mm Panasonic Lumix pancake lens, my trusty Zuiko 12-50, and also the 40-150. Well, I just had a chat to Bob over there, and he pointed me in the direction of these pools in the marshy area. I think there must be a photo in there somewhere. So thank you, Bob. Let's dig out the EM1 and have a look, see what we can do. Not 100% sure that this is going to be a keeper. 12-50mm lens. I'm going to overexpose it slightly because I want some detail in the foreground. Not quite like this. Yeah, it's one of those shots. Don't know. Have to wait and see. Take a look at it on the computer. It's now pretty cloudy everywhere. A few breaks in the cloud, but I think I've captured the best I can get today. I'm going to come back with that 400mm Sigma, get some long-range shots across to Park Gate on the Wirral. But for now, it's heading back to Flint and the train back home. I'll see you soon. Well, I hope you got some enjoyment out of watching the video. Did you spot the image in question? Yes, of course, it's that one with the horrible bald sky coming through the window apertures in the tower of the castle. Now, initially, when I looked at it, I didn't like it in the slightest. I was actually trying to work out what on earth took my eye and what made me take the photo in the first place. And of course, it is the light coming through and reflecting that lovely sunlight on the stone, on the masonry. The bald sky is what basically ruins that photo. So what I did was to import it into Affinity, but you can do this process in more or less any software package that you care to mention. Photoshop or GIMP or On1 Photo Raw, all of those. Duplicate the image so that you've got 2 identical layers, one on top of the other. Then what I did was to open up a sky image, and just for convenience I actually used the silhouette image taken against the castle, because the sky was nice and dramatic in that one. And all I did was to select a rectangular section of the sky, copy it, paste it into the already opened image of this tower, and then all you have to do is to slide that image of the sky, which automatically is placed on top of the other two. You slide it in between the two layers and you've got a sandwich. You've got your base layer of the tower, then you've got the sky in the middle, and on top of that you have got the duplicated layer. Then the duplicated layer, you can, in this case, because the window outlines are so clearly delineated, you can use the auto selection tool, select each window in turn and delete it from the top layer, which is the one you're going to be working on. Delete it and you'll see the sky coming through in the background. And then all I had to do was to actually distort the sky to make it fill the area that I wanted and just position it in a way that I thought looked realistic. So that's the basis of the edit, and from there it was a case of boosting the saturation and contrast and doing my usual thing of putting a white border around it. Job done. And I just wanted to highlight it. I'm not going to say that it's not an amazing image, but it's turned it into something that I'm happy to keep rather than deleting. And my message to everybody is never ever delete an image just by looking at the back of the camera, and even then leave it till you get back home, have a good look at it on a decent sized monitor, and just analyze before you hit the delete button. Just analyze what it was about the photograph that you liked in the first place, and then decide whether to either keep it and edit it or in fact delete it. There you go. End of lesson. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye bye for now.